Okay. He sneaked back into the village. Eragon kept to the shadows as he searched each street, listening for the slightest noise. His thoughts flashed to his room where his bow hung. He wished that he had it in his hand. He prowled across Carvahall, avoiding everyone until he heard a sibilant voice. Sibilant is like hissing from around a house. Although his ears were keen, he had to strain to hear what was being said. When did this happen? The words were smooth like oiled glass, and seemed to warm their way through the air. Underlying the speech was a strange hiss that made his skull prickle. See, it just saying hiss. So, in case you didn't know, about 3 months, about 3 months ago, someone else answered. Eragon identified him as Sloan. Shade's blood. He's telling them. He resolved to punch Sloan the next time they met. Eragon is very violent. A third person spoke. The voice was deep and moist. It conjured up images of creeping decay, mold, and other things best left untouched. Are you sure? We would hate to think that you had made a mistake. If that were so, it would be most unpleasant. Eragon could imagine only too well what they might do. Would anyone but the Empire dare threaten people like that? Probably not, but whoever sent the egg might be powerful enough to use force with impunity. Yeah, I'm sure. He had it then. I'm not lying. Plenty of people know about it. How would plenty of people know about it? Only Katrina, Sloan, and Horst should know about it. And Rowan and Garrow. Go ask them. Sloan started shaking. He said something else that Eragon did not catch. They have been rather uncooperative. The words were derisive. There was a pause. Your information has been helpful. We will not forget you. Eragon believed him. Sloan muttered something. Then Eragon heard someone hurrying away. He peered around the corner to see what was happening. Two tall men stood in the street. Both were dressed in long black clothes, and that were lifted by sheets poking past their legs. On their shirts were insignias intricately wrought with silver thread. Hoods shaded their faces, and their hands were covered by gloves. Their backs were oddly humped, as though their clothes were stuffed with padding. Eragon shifted slightly to get a better view. One of the strangers stiffened and grunted peculiarly to his companion. They both swiveled around and sank into crouches. Eragon's breath caught. Mortal fear clenched him. His eyes locked into their hidden faces, and a stifling power fell over his mind, keeping him in place. He struggled against it, screaming to himself, "Move!" His legs swayed, but to no avail. The strangers stalked towards him with a smooth, noiseless gait. He knew that they would see his face now. They were almost to the corner, hands grasping at swords. Eragon! He jerked, as his name was called. The strangers froze in place and hissed. Broom hurried towards him from the side, head bare and staff in hand. The strangers were blocked from the old man's view. Eragon tried to warn him, but his tongue and arms would not steer. Eragon! Cried Broom again. The strangers gave Eragon one last look, then slipped away between the houses. Eragon collapsed to the ground, shivering. Sweat beaded on his forehead and made his palms sticky. The old man offered Eragon a hand and pulled him up with a strong arm. You look sick. Is all well? Eragon gulped and nodded mutely. His eyes flickered around, searching for anything unusual. I just got dizzy all of a sudden. It passed. I was very cold. It was very odd. I don't know. What happened? You'll recover, said Broom. But perhaps it would be better if you went home. Yes, I have to get home. I have to get there before they do. I think you're right. Maybe I'm getting ill. Then home is the best place for you. It's a long walk, but I'm sure you'll feel better by the time you arrive. Let me escort you to the road. Eragon did not protest as Broom took his arm and led him away at a quick pace. Broom's staff crunched in the snow as they passed the houses. Why were you looking for me? Broom shrugged. Simple curiosity. I learned you were in town and wondered if you had remembered the name of that traitor. Traitor? What is he talking about? Eragon stared blankly. His confusion caught the attention of Broom's probing eyes. No, he said, and then amended himself. I'm afraid I still don't remember. Broom sighed gruffly, as if something had been confirmed, then rubbed his eagle nose. We're still sticking to the eagle metaphors. Well then, if you do, come tell me. I am most interested in this traitor, who pretends to know so much about dragons. Eragon nodded with a distracted air. They walked in silence to the road. Then Broom said, Hasten home, and I don't think it will be a good idea to tarry on the way. He offered a gnarled hand. Eragon shook it, but as he let go, something in Broom's arm caught on his mitt and pulled it off. It fell to the ground. The old man picked it up. Clumsy of me, he apologized, and handed it back. As Eragon took the mitt, Broom's strong fingers wrapped around his wrist and twisted sharply. His palm briefly faced upward, revealing the silvery mark. Broom's eyes glinted, but he let Eragon yank his hand back and jam it into the mitt. Goodbye! Eragon forced out, perturbed, and hurried down the road. Behind him, he heard Broom whistling a merry tune, not tone. Well, I just ruined the fact. Yeah. Well, we're finally getting into the interesting parts of the story. I can't wait till the certain chapter that I can't tell you, because it's kind of funny. I noticed something really funny. Okay, I should stop now.